Ready to see some of the most startling industrial mistakes ever captured by WoW Tech, caught in every second? Let's dive into the chaos! A truly life or death situation, quite literally hanging by a thread. Just one weak link and an expensive machine turns into a pile of scrap metal. It's like a scene from an action movie. A truck gets stuck on the tracks, a train barrels in like a steel giant, and the impact unfolds right before our eyes. Good thing the driver made it out just in time, almost like he could sense what was coming. Looks like that swing might have been a bit too much. Like an unbalanced scale, a passing wave was all it took to flip this brick-loaded boat. That's exactly why proper loading isn't just a guideline, it's a must. After the ceremonious parade, no one expected the T-34 to make such a dramatic exit from the stage. Those 10 seconds when the boulder truck lost control became a breeze thanks to the excavator operator's quick reflexes, saving the whole construction site from total chaos. The steep angle and slippery road were simply too much, causing the vehicle to tip right over. Definitely not a downhill ride anyone would want to repeat. What do you think caused this mishap? Was it a miscalculation in load capacity or a mistaken operation? The moment that massive crane collapsed after a direct hit, it's something you rarely see in the transport industry. All because the cargo ship couldn't stop in time and slammed into the steel support like a giant arrow. Fireworks are meant to light up the sky during celebrations, but this time, they turned a warehouse into a raging inferno. The incident began at a California fireworks storage facility, with flames quickly spreading to nearby commercial buildings. The sound of the power pole breaking was sharp and sudden, a direct result of backing up without a spotter. The car on the other side took the full hit, but thankfully, no one was inside at the time. Everything was under control until the cable snapped, sending the vehicle splitting away like this. Performance. Fortunately, the slip didn't lead to any serious damage. A thick jet of black oil shot high into the air, creating a scene that looked just like a massive steam plume in Yakutia. It all started with an overpressure buildup that the tank walls couldn't contain. A CCTV camera captured the moment a septic tank truck crashed straight into a house, crushing several motorbikes parked on the sidewalk. It's hard to imagine how long it'll take to clean up that kind of mess. What seemed like a routine training session took a sudden turn when the helicopter tilted sharply and crashed to the right while still powered on. It's hard to believe both crew members walked away safely, though the helicopter clearly needs a long vacation for repairs. Think pulling a A textbook example of how crane tip-overs often come from overloading or stretching beyond safe reach. Even though the system had limited the load to 75% for safety, the operator ignored the warnings and pushed it past the limit. At a metallurgical plant, a ladle filled It's clear to anyone that this road is way too tight for a vehicle of that size. It all began when the tank truck lost power climbing uphill. As the engine weakened and it stalled mid-slope, the assistant went to place chocks. That's when the truck suddenly rolled backward, lost control, and flipped repeatedly. This shows how even a brief delay can create major risks on steep terrain.
Dan tadi supirnya sudah kami tolongi.
Even controlled load tests don't always go as planned. Once the 6-ton capacity crossed the balance point, gravity took over and the crane went crashing down right in the middle of the test. This pilot landed 3/4 down the runway, maybe since this airport sits right in front of a steep hill. But that sudden, hard brake, enough to make passengers rethink their next flight real quick.
Dude, that guy's gotta stop. Whoa! Crap. That kind of...
Steam might seem harmless, but extremely dangerous when it meets high temperatures in the furnace. That's why it's super important to dry scrap metal thoroughly before it goes in to avoid this from happening. Trying to sneak past a toll behind a truck might have seemed clever, but the tires decided to charge triple on the spot. This fiery blast might look intense, but it's actually the final step in putting out an oil fire. A special powder is spread to cool things down and stop the reaction, while CO2 quickly removes the oxygen, snuffing out the flames in under a minute. This incident is a reminder that even modern renewable energy systems can face unexpected challenges. A wind turbine in Texas was struck by lightning, sparking a fire on a blade that spread to the tower. Expecting Dr. Strange to step out of that fiery circle in the middle of the steel mill? Nope, it's just thousands of degrees of hot, molten steel leaking from a centrifugal casting machine. While lifting a container, the crane suddenly lost balance and toppled onto a cargo ship carrying 600 liters of diesel. Thankfully, the crew got off in time. However, a dark oil slick still spread across the waters off the Galapagos Islands. No one expected this formal launch ceremony to end with a surprise bump into a tugboat. The USS Cleveland rocked a bit but didn't go under, just a rather rough start to its journey. Ignoring the warning signs, the driver ended up with a scratched box truck as a tough lesson learned. The bridge ahead definitely wasn't the kind that opens, and this cargo ship made a pretty unfortunate mistake. Luckily, a well-timed warning horn cut through the chaos, helping prevent what could have been a much worse outcome.
Patay.
Just like a lizard dropping its tail to make a getaway, this trailer popped loose from the truck after going over a speed bump. It definitely slowed things down, but also left its tail behind in the process. When you forget you're driving a super tall container truck and just believe it'll squeeze under a 3.4-meter bridge without a hitch. Like a giant spring snapping loose, the pressure crushed everything in its range. But what really caused this to happen? Let's take a guess. Was it really just a... Not even 10 seconds into celebrating the launch, the smiles of those standing near the bow quickly faded. Everything suddenly took a turn for the worse. Wait, what just happened? The plane lost its brakes, shot straight into the hangar, and burst into flames, just like an action movie where someone forgot to hit pause.
It's not stopping. Oh my gosh. Dude, that is badass.
Holy moly.
One slip, and the excavator turned into a bulldozer, shoving the truck that brought it. Pretty sure the driver wasn't expecting a surprise thrill ride that day.
¡Bote lampón! ¡Bote lampón! ¡Bote lampón, hey!
No matter how rushed you are, always take a look before opening the door. Was lifting a load at an almost vertical angle the critical mistake here? When compression doubles the load's weight, even the tiniest weak spot can make the crane bring down the entire project. That white car stopped just in time to catch a spectacular slip-and-slide moment happening right ahead. On the river, two cranes were working hard to hold up a massive concrete block. But that delicate balance didn't last long. A sudden collapse sent everything crashing down, turning the riverbank into a chaotic mess of debris. No one expected a brief moment of imbalance to bring the whole crane down right across the road, leaving a traffic jam stretching out with no clear end in sight. With no way to call for help, the operator had only one option: drive the grader with a blown tire more than 10 kilometers back to the workshop. Let's just say that was not a comfortable ride. This is what happens when you spend more time planning the camera angle than actually handling the demolition. Quick reflexes saved the driver of the white truck from a serious collision when the trailer of the truck up ahead suddenly broke loose and came barreling straight back at them. It was supposed to be another routine demolition, but the excavator's misplaced position caused the whole concrete block to crash down. Good thing the operator was safe inside the cabin and unharmed. Looks like Clay Street got a surprise delivery. A free air conditioner. Too bad it didn't quite land where it was supposed to. Everything seemed to be going smoothly with the two cranes until one sling suddenly snapped. It's likely that a small hidden flaw in the lifting system was all it took to bring the entire operation to a halt. Unusual water levels pushed the vessel close to the main pillar of the Sante Bridge in Guayaquil. This strong impact caused part of the bridge to collapse, disrupting traffic in the area. Everything was running like any other day until a burst of sparks from molten steel shot straight toward the observation deck. Thankfully, no one was in the wrong place at the wrong time. This Boeing seemed to forget it's a plane, not a snowplow. It veered out of control and ended up pushing through a bunch of luggage carts. It was a solid effort, but sadly, the results didn't quite pay off the way they hoped. Luckily, the bulldozer landed upright when it tipped over, giving the driver just enough time to get out safely. A rare collapse that could cost up to 100 million euros. Unbelievably, it all started from one tiny weak point in the lifting system. The winds at the Colorado-Wyoming border were so strong, they tipped a massive container truck like it was a cardboard box on the highway. The large ship turned at the wrong moment, causing the smaller tugboat to flip over at Seashell Rapids. But thanks to quick reactions, everyone on board managed to escape just in time as the boat slowly sank. Blown pistons happen, but they're totally avoidable. Just follow the technical guidelines and replace parts when recommended. Too much load pressure combined with a bad rotation angle caused the hook to break, making the salvage job a chaotic scene. The way they towed that helicopter onto the ship made many people concerned about the safety level. The storm on the Java Sea was nothing apart from a giant thief, sweeping away all the heavy equipment from the ship. At least the 13-person crew managed to escape safely.
Semua kru sudah selamat.
The float tilted just slightly, but it was enough to dump the tractor into the water. Though the driver was quicker than the flip, getting out of the cabin safely on his own. This beer bath doesn't sound very fun. The taste is probably bitter beyond measure. Next time, that driver probably won't underestimate the power of an unsecured hose again. What looked like a normal loading operation, but the moisture in the scrap metal ignited a chain reaction, like throwing water on boiling oil. After watching closely, did you catch what caused the tankers to go off the rails? But don't get too caught up in curiosity. Better run, because ethanol ignites more easily than you might think. So, you've just seen some of the most costly industrial mistakes. There are countless other secrets waiting for you at WowTech. So, don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment below.